Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Love Tech Live. In this episode, we'll be covering Basic CSS Selectors. This page will serve as the demo where we can walk through some of the basic rules and how to select elements on your page. Of course, CSS gives us lots of great options for making our pages pretty and fine-tuning the styles that we want. In this case, we'll not really be focusing so much on making it pretty, but on selecting the proper elements. In later episodes, we'll focus on how to get the precise style that you're looking for. All right, so we'll in this demo we'll cover element selectors, ID selectors, class selectors, attribute selectors, and combo selectors. Combo selectors are where you mix and match these other selectors above. If you don't know the difference between getting ahead of myself. If you don't know the difference between an ID and a class, essentially an ID, you only want to, every element only has one ID. And if you're using an ID for one element, you should never use that same ID for another element. In other words, element IDs are unique. All right, so let's look at this code here before we start using the demo. We have a dozen or so tags here, elements, on our page. You can see some of them have classes, some of them have IDs, some of them have the custom attributes, such as content ID here. On the right side of the page, we have these rules. When they hover over a rule, we're going to highlight any matching elements from this list. And the way it works is when they highlight over one of these special elements, we clear all the other highlights and we find any matches and we add this highlighted class. Highlighted class just means give it a 2-pixel solid border. That's essentially it. And a radius and such. So let's start with a real simple example. This is just a tag selector. So we're saying select all divs, all div tags on in this playground here, this sandbox. So basically everything except for these P tags, these paragraph tags, are selected and are given the blue border. If we move on to the next one, it's going to be the opposite. Only the paragraph tags are selected, while the div tags are not selected. Let's look at a combo rule here. This is saying not only does it have to have the div tag, but it also needs to have an ID that's equal to cool ID. So note the syntax here. It starts with the tag, and then there's no space. We just dive right in, and we say the hashtag cool ID. So that means the ID is equal to cool ID. Whenever you see hashtag, that means we're talking about IDs. Whenever you see a period, that means we're talking about classes. So on this example, when I mouse over div.coolClass, we're selecting all the divs that have the class coolClass. Now in this example, it's even simpler than the previous. We don't care. It doesn't even have to be a div. All it has to do is have the cool class. So you see even more selected because this paragraph tag has the cool class, as well as all the divs that were selected previously. In this example, it's a combo rule where not only does the ID have to match, but also the class has to match. This is actually kind of rare because, as you know, IDs are unique. So this is the same as just selecting hashtag cool ID. Alright, and now for these final examples, we'll be looking at attribute selectors. So this example is selecting all div tags that has the attribute content ID equals to my content. Attributes are a really powerful way to add extra data that can be leveraged and used as hooks for styling in your CSS. And when we get to jQuery in later episodes, a lot of these concepts will apply as well. In this final example, we're selecting all elements on the page that have this cool class, and the attribute content ID is equal to more content. And you see this last element here is selected. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Love Tech Live. If this video was helpful, click that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Check out the description box of this video or just go to lovetech.io for more plugins and tutorials.